How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Garry's Mod, and today we're going to take a look at even more GWater. So if you guys did miss the last video, I'll put it in the top right corner. Definitely check that out. That's kind of like the foundation of these videos I'll be doing. Now, I won't be doing this for the sake of content. I will only be showcasing new actual content, but if you don't want to watch that video, GWater 2 is the next enhancement in GWater by MEE. Now, a big disclaimer, of course, it's currently in beta, so it's not fully released yet, and it is currently only available in early access through his Patreon, which you do have to pay, but if you do want to support an amazing creator, I will put it down below. I'll also put his YouTube channel down because I personally think that he deserves more recognition for his amazing work, and if you have not seen the last video, you are in for an amazing time. I mean, just look at this. It still blows my mind how good this looks. It really does resemble real-life fluid in modern games. In fact, in modern games, there isn't even realistic fluid physics like this, so this kind of tech isn't even in most modern video games because to simulate all of this is just incredibly difficult. Like, this is the stuff you won't find outside of like graphics card tech demos to show off the prowess of the graphics card at the time. But now we can do it in an actual video game. Now, of course, there was physics with like Borderlands 2. That was a lot of fun. And that's actually what this does remind me of. I would play with that all the time with my GTX 660 Ti. God damn it, I'm rambling. Let's go on to the point of the video. I wanted to come back to BigCity because you know what, guys? This is where it all really started. I remember my first GWater video, I believe, was in BigCity, and the thumbnail was taken right here. I poured all of it right here, and then I took a screenshot like this, and bam, there it was. So it feels really good to come back with the new and improved GWater, and the main reason of this video, you guys know I'm not doing this just for content like I said, is I really did want to mess around with some of the finer settings. Specifically, I really wanted to adjust the particle limit, which is found in performance. We can crank this up, and now we can spawn in a lot. You can see right here, this can be dangerous because all particles must be allocated to the GPU. Do not set the limit to a number higher than you think your computer can handle. I have a 3090 Ti, I think I'll be fine. Let's put all 24 gigs of RAM to good work. Alright, so normally we can only put about, well, we're already over the limit before. It was 100,000. So let's go even further beyond. And we've already doubled the limit. And wow, this is pretty incredible. Oh, look at that. It's like flooding in. That is so cool. I have not tested this yet, guys. I clicked record and we're going to experiment together. I did delve into more of the settings to kind of get a better idea of what they all do, just so I'm not like an absolute idiot to you guys like, well, I normally am. We are getting a little bit of lag, I'm not going to lie. I think the more that we put in the same area, the more lag we're going to get. So we're already at about 4 times the limit of what it was before. We are making our own tsunami right now. Oh, look at that. The particles are getting slow. So I'm going to see if I can get all the way to that 1 million threshold without my computer crashing, of course. It's like slow motion globs of water. That is insane. I'm surprised I'm even getting more than 2 frames per second right now, but look at this. We can truly appreciate the fluid physics at its finest detail. And here comes a bunch of blobs. Whoa! We're just gonna get completely immersed. Wow. Look at this, guys. It feels good to be flooding BigCity once again. So after we've kind of set like a base level down, we can see the water is still traveling, but again, it seems to have slowed down. So it looks like the fluid motion is tied with the frame rate. I could be wrong, but that's just one thing I observed through my little pea brain. Let's go ahead and, well, just spawn as many as we can. We've hit the 1 million threshold and my computer did not crash. We have a very fine amount of water over pretty much the entire spawn area, and it's still spreading, as you can see. These little beads just flying across the surface. It looks really cool. This is just, I didn't anticipate this when I clicked record. I didn't know what I was going to expect, but wow, this is just blowing my mind. I mean, I already did a video messing with this for a good while, and it just doesn't get old. It's so cool seeing the water just run down the street like that. Alright, so this is really cool, right? We've pretty much covered the entire spawn area. Unfortunately, that's about all we can muster with the very hard particle limit. I think my GPU could handle maybe a little bit more, but sadly, we do not have the capacity to do that. So we can adjust a bunch of other things here. And if you don't know what anything does, well, Metric has done an amazing job at giving you very detailed explanations on all the different settings on the right panel. Alright, so we are running into the same issue we had with the original GWater, and that is, we don't have enough particles. Well, we have plenty, but they're not big enough. How do we fix that? Well, here in the Parameters tab, we can adjust the radius of each particle, which means that each particle will take up more space, which means we can fill a bigger area without needing as many. I'm gonna be pretty conservative at first. Oh, look at that. They are a lot bigger. So here I'm just kind of like squirting it out. Oh god, that word. And yeah, it still looks so cool. And we could see it's going to fill BigCity a lot quicker, and we're only at 34,000. I'm so excited, guys, to do this, if you couldn't tell. Let's go ahead and shoot out a giant block. We can see the blocks are also a lot bigger. Let's completely just flood this bitch. I want to go all the way to 11. I'm not even going to stop. I'm just going to shoot straight up 1 million particles. Okay, here we go. We're pretty much at 1 million. Look at this. This is unreal. It's like a giant tsunami just came through BigCity, and we can see the amazing interactions it has with physics objects like, well, the buildings on this map. The water is trying to find a way in, taking any route that it can. It's flooding the highways, going into the canal, which is pretty fitting. This is where GWater probably should be anyway. And it's kind of funny because we spawned it all the way at the beginning, and this is what I call a proper flood. Now it really feels like the original video. Water is literally everywhere. If there's a spot with flat land, I promise you there's probably water on it. And you can see right here it's like drooping off. So I did not change the viscosity, but due to the nature of having larger water particles, it's gonna make everything look a bit more globby. But I love this. This is so cool. So as the water does spread, it is gonna thin out here in the center, but I'm gonna enjoy it while we can. Let's dive bomb right into the water. So if you guys have not seen the first video, by default, yeah, GWater 2 does not interact with you in the way that you'd expect water to. Because of course, well, GWater 2 was designed to move out of the way when anything were to move through it. So, you know, if we go through this, you can see it's moving. So already this has satisfied me. It looks just as good as GWater 1 did with how much we could fill it up. But that wasn't even the most we could do. We could crank the radius all the way to the maximum. We can also adjust the cohesion and the adhesion. So cohesion is exactly how it sounds. That controls how well the particles stick together. You can crank it all the way up, and again with this amazing preview, you can test it. So now that the cohesion has been cranked, we can see it's not really fluid-like anymore. It's more like a bunch of individual balls just bouncing into each other. I really hope no one makes a meme out of that. Let's go ahead and throw it out, and I actually got it wrong, because cranking it up makes the cohesion stronger. I don't know why I thought it made it weaker, but I kind of expected the blobs to go on their own. No, it just makes a gigantic block of GWater, and that is just so cool. You can mix them together. Now this really does feel like Jello. I know I said that in the last video. This is goddamn near Jello. Not sponsored, by the way. You could just make a giant blob monster of GWater, and you can make it as tall as you want because it's not going to spread out. And I just want to make a giant blocky tower of water because, well, why not? My friends, BigCity has got a new tower. Alright, so it's not really cohering as well as I was hoping it would. The tower has fallen. On this map, that's not a great thing. But now we've made a giant blob completely absorbing. Let's go ahead and dive into it to see what it looks like. Whoa. This is kind of cool. I don't even know what to say. The way they interact with GWater 2 is very, very different. So as you can see, this is what I thought it was going to do. You know, it kind of like blotches everywhere. And this is definitely some sticky water because you could shoot it on any surface, and even these vertical surfaces, it's almost akin to slime, sticking to any surface because of that massive adhesion. And of course, you guys already know we did talk about gravity. You can make it to where the gravity can be opposite so that the GWater particles fly up, and this just looks crazy. Oh my god, that is like something you see out of a movie or something. I don't even know how to explain it, but look at this. We can paint the entire upper limit of the map with GWater. So if you ever wanted to know where the hard limit was on this map, you can use GWater to accomplish that in a very taxing but fancy looking way. Oh, and then you can set the gravity to normal and have the water all come crashing down. That is so cool. And there it goes. So this is probably the best way to coat all of BigCity in water. We didn't even use all the particles, but that's a pretty fine layer. Next up, we have time scale. This is going to adjust the speed at which the particles move. So check this out. Well, the problem is, if the particles can't move, they can't even spawn in. So we have to set it to something above 0. Let's go ahead and do this, make it very slow. And there we have it. So now we have slow GWater. But I'm a lot more intrigued by fast GWater. So let's go ahead and try this. You know what? That acts a lot more like water. Water's pretty quick, last time I checked. Alright, let's go ahead and just shoot a bunch of blobs in the air. Let's see how quick they really do interact. Oh, wow. That is pretty impressive. So this might help alleviate some of the slowdown you face when you hit the particle limit. And what you can also do is you can adjust the gravity to have all the GWater come up. Oh, wow, this is gonna look insane. And okay, GWater is flying up. Now that we have GWater pretty much coating the entire sky, let's go ahead and crank it all the way back down. And it should fall relatively quick. There we go, that's more like rain, right? Totally wouldn't kill anyone if all that water landed on someone down there. But this video is probably already going to be over 10 minutes. Guys, I could play with GWater for hours. I'm not kidding. This is so incredibly fun. I've seen this probably like 5 dozen times already, and it doesn't get old. There are still things I keep finding that blow me away. Again, props to the creator MEE for making this, as well as the Infinite Map Base, 2 of the most amazing mods that I've ever seen that I didn't think were even possible in Garry's mod. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Do you think GWater 2 is pretty neat? Do you want to see more GWater 2 videos? Let me know down below. And if you have any ideas on what I should do with GWater 2, definitely hit me up in the comments with that as well. As always, links will be in the description. Leave a like, subscribe. Guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, farewell.